All right, so the big question that people get when you buy a new farm, and it's probably the biggest question from your wife, how do you pay for these improvements? And that's one thing that, you know, when you're talking about getting a dozer in here to clear out the field, and you're thinking about the food plot seed and the soil amendments, and you're like, oh, that can cost a lot. But I also want to improve the habitat, and this is one of the great things that timber country guys have to their benefit.
Totally.
And we're standing in a chunk of timber. There's not a lot of great logs right here immediately, but it gives you a good idea of what the timbered acres looks like. Closed canopy, and hasn't had logging done in a while. So we're gonna log the farm, take some of the timber out, open up the canopy, take some of that money to put into improving the open acres, that field that we were just in, as well as improving the overall farm habitat, opening the canopy. And because the skidder will be moving around, we're going to lay out the roadways that we want them to use. So that we're going to improve, once they're done, improve those roads so we get roads, we get more open canopy and more habitat, and then we also get fire breaks because of those. I forgot to mention that. And then we help offset the cost to doze in the field that's going to eventually be food plot.
Any other little water holes strategically placed to be put in while that equipment's on site. But that's the thing, so many people are apprehensive of doing timber harvest. They can understand and get, let's say, their mind wrapped around TSI and the importance of that. And that's kind of a bridge, let's say, of getting in to open up the canopy. But sometimes, and in this case, there's not much offered here in the understory. There can be, but you have to be aggressive and not be scared, especially when you can say, you know, from a spreadsheet standpoint, here's the money I'm going to get from logging. Then I don't have to do follow-up TSI immediately and pay a crew to come in and do that. But I can take that money, move it right over here, do all the other improvements that you want. Now imagine, without much cost at all, if any, from the timber value that you're going to get, the end product is pretty much in place. And probably much faster too.
Exactly. And then also we can lay out ahead of time clear cuts that we tell the guy, if there's any value in these clear cuts, take it. So if you need to get more aggressive, do it. And what's going to be left in those acres that we designate as clear cut or bedding cuts is going to be a few scraggly trees that we can hinge cut over and make additional cover, and use the heavy lifting of a logger to pretty much restore our habitat.
Yeah, I mean, that workload's on them. They've got the equipment to do it, and you kind of just make sure you're managing them appropriately. You're communicating with exactly what you want to do. But at the end of the day, you know, a couple months down the road, you can have so much work done in place, sunlight getting in here, then follow up with your maintenance and step back in a year's time frame and say, wow, this place has changed. And I didn't have to shell out a lot of additional cash to make it happen.
That's right, and that's the goal right here on the new piece.
And I really like applying some numbers to things sometimes. It helps my brain, so maybe it'll help you guys. But when we start talking about like the low value that field's in right now, but the potential to be super high value to this property from a wildlife side of things, and then you look at the timber and its current conditions, like there's some monetary resource to gain out of this. Can we then flip that field from low production currently into something high? And if so, how does that work out from a number standpoint when we move value from here, monetary out of timber value, into that field?
Well, I look at it in real simple terms and saying low value, but at least there's timber value. There's no wildlife, not real wildlife value in this, but there is still some timber value. So let's just say that we identify 4 or 5 spots for clear-cut bedding areas.
Roughly an acre each.
So we have, let's just say 5 acres that we're going to completely clear-cut. But because of the timber value that's on those 5 acres, and it's not even great timber value, so you go to the Northeast or Great Lakes region, I think of Ohio and parts of Kentucky where it's amazing
Tennessee.
timber, but here it's not great. And so in that 1 acre piece, we may make $750 to $1,000 an acre if we clear cut it and there were some decent logs in it. So we take that 5 acres that was clear cut at $5,000 or $1,000 a piece. That's $5,000 acre. What's the cost to get that field back? Let's say it's $4,000 to $5,000. We can almost wipe the slate clean and say we took money here and we put it there. Now we have improved bedding as well as improved food source. So
you're net zero.
Yeah, you're netting zero.
So that's a huge value, because now, again, we know destination of bedding, we know destination of food source, we can build hunting strategy around that. And there's other projects, there's other thinning on some other remaining acres that can go to those other projects. But, you know, you're not changing, let's say, your life with the income on this timber based on the value, but what you can do with it improves the recreational value incredibly, immensely on this property.
No doubt.
And again, such a short amount of time.